All right, we're going to be starting here soon. All right, we're going to be starting here soon. All right, we're going to be starting here soon. All right, we're going to be starting here soon. All right, let me know in the chat box if you guys can hear me or not. All right, looks like we still got a few people trickling in, so we'll wait a bit for them to hop on here, and we'll get started shortly. All right, if you guys can hear me, just go ahead and drop something in the chat. All right, you guys, just a heads up, we'll be getting started here in a moment. Just waiting for everyone to finish rolling in. All right, you guys, we'll be getting started here shortly. All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. So the training that we have today is how to get your 6 to 10-year-old to listen without stressing, yelling, or losing your cool. And my name's Tony Robinson. I'll be the presenter today. I'll be running you through this training. And here's kind of an overview of what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to start with kind of what that big parenting problem is that a lot of people are dealing with. I'll give you a little bit of background on myself and my story. And then we'll get into the behavior bank. That's the special tool that I've been using that's completely changed the way that I parent my son and that I interact with him. So we'll get into that, what that behavior bank is. And then we'll talk about the science behind this whole process that I'm using, because it's not like I just made this up and it just happened to work, but there's actual science behind it that legitimizes why it works so well. And then I'll give you a few tips on how to get started. Now, as I'm going through this whole presentation, feel free to ask me any questions. You can drop them in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat and I'll be answering questions as they come up as well. But again, feel free to ask any questions, or if you guys need more clarification, whatever it is, feel free to let me know. So let's start with the big parenting problem. Like, what's that one problem faced by so many parents, by countless parents, but that so many people struggle to find an answer with? Well, I'm going to give you the answer and the solution. So obviously, the question that most parents want to know is, how do I get my kid to listen? How do I stop all the yelling and the nagging and the stressing out over getting my child to listen? It's a very simple ask, right? Like, when I ask you to do something, just do it. Or things that you know you should be doing, why aren't you doing them? Or things that you know you shouldn't be doing, why are you doing them? Very big challenge that a lot of parents face, because we all know that parenting is definitely the most rewarding job there is. Like, being able to take another person from birth and grow and nurture that person into adulthood, it's a very rewarding thing. But it's also very difficult. Being a parent is very difficult. And hopefully what I show you today will help make that job just a little bit easier, right? We don't want to feel like as parents we're always nagging and yelling, because it does suck the fun out of parenting. So what I found is that the solution is to build a quote unquote parenting system. Again, the solution for me to get my kid to listen was to build a parenting system. And that's kind of what we'll be spending the duration of this presentation going over, is that parenting system that I created and how it's helped me. So what is a parenting system? So generally speaking, a system is defined as a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done. Now that sounds very helpful, right? A set of principles or procedures according to which something is done. But let's step out of parenting for a little bit and just talk about the world at large. How many systems do we have in place that help alleviate the chaos? We have our traffic systems. We have stoplights. We have street signals. Green means go. Red means stop. Yellow means slow down. We have speed limits. In residential areas, you can't go more than this many miles per hour. On the freeway, it's 65 miles per hour. All these rules and procedures help keep everything in place. It helps everything run more smoothly. And then think about like if the city decides to build a new highway, right? They probably have some system in place that says, okay, here's what we're going to do first. Here's what we're going to do second. Here's what we're going to do third, so on and so forth. Because the system helps keep things in place and run more smoothly. Or even if you think about like your own job, I'm sure there are systems in place that help you do your job. You probably even have a job description that serves as some sort of system for what you should be doing at work. And the good thing about a system is that it's very predictable. You know when you've crossed that line. And what we want to do is start leveraging all the benefits of the system and bring that into parenting. So why build a parenting system? First is that we can't expect our kids to consistently behave well if we haven't given them consistent guidelines and instructions. Because truth is, and this was me before I really started using this whole system that I'm going to train you on today, but for most parents, we just kind of parent on the fly. right? We kind of make up consequences, and we make up rewards, and we make up kind of how we parent just as we go. And it varies on a case by case basis. So one day maybe we get mad at our child about something, and the next day maybe we let it slide. Or vice versa. Maybe one day we say, hey, son, daughter, you did a really good job when you did X, Y, and Z. But then the next time they do that, we don't recognize that. Or the next time that they do something that they feel was worthy of recognition, we don't recognize it. So again, most parents kind of parent, quote unquote, on the fly. And this is a challenge because it creates inconsistencies. Your child doesn't really know what exactly it is you expect of them. The expectations aren't clear. And the value of having a parenting system is that it provides clarity. And again, I'm going to go into more detail of what this system looks like. What I'm just trying to do right now is sell you on the fact that you need a system as a parent. You need, let's go back to that definition, a set of principles or procedures according to how you parent, according to how you want to parent. So systems provide clarity. Parents know what principles are important to them, and the child understand what's expected. Again, we can't expect our kids to consistently behave well if we haven't given them consistent guidelines and instructions. So that's what the goal of this whole parenting system is to give those consistent guidelines and instructions to your child. Now, before I go a little bit deeper into what the behavior bank is and how I'm utilizing that tool to help me as a parent, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. So first, I'm not a PhD. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a scientist. I'm literally just a dad who was desperate to find a way to discipline my son without sucking all the fun out of parenting, without feeling like I was just constantly nagging and yelling and stressing. I'm just a dad who found a solution. And the reason I say that is because what I'm about to show you doesn't require any advanced education or technical knowledge. It's a very simple, very straightforward, very easy to implement system. So that's why I think it's important that you kind of know my background. But basically, like I said, I'm just a normal guy. And the idea of what I'm about to show you, I actually got it from my fourth grade teacher. When I was in fourth grade, my fourth grade teacher had classroom money. And every day we'd show up and we'd get $1 for being, and this is fake money, of course, classroom fake money. And every day we'd show up, we get $1 of that fake classroom money for being there on time. If we turned in our homework, we got another like $2 of that fake classroom money. If we answered a question that she felt was difficult, we get another, buck of that classroom money. And all these different things we did throughout the week that were positive in our teacher's eyes, we got rewarded for. And at the end of every week on Friday, our teacher had this store, this classroom store. She bought all these really cool items and she put them in this store. And at the end of every week, all the classroom money that you earned, you could spend in her classroom store. And I remember I bought, pretty sure it was a Walkman tape player out of that store. And, I just never forgot it. It really motivated me to want to do well, to be able to, get that reward and be able to spend it on things that I actually liked. And it made me want to work hard to be a well-behaved student. So one day I'm at home and I'm, I kind of just like, snapped at my son a little bit and I'm just thinking like, what can I do? What can I do to make this a more enjoyable experience, not only for myself, but for my son as well? Like, what can I do? And I don't know what triggered that thought or how I thought back all the way to fourth grade, but I did. And I said, I remember really enjoying that. I remember really enjoying that. And I thought to myself, well, how can I leverage that inside the house? What can I do here at home? So I said, I'm going to try and take that classroom money system that my teacher created and turn it into something that I can use here at home. And I tried it out. I leveraged a very similar system that I'm going to explain as we move through this training. I leveraged that same system and it turned out that it worked. It worked really, really well. My son really enjoyed that whole process. And then as I dug a little bit deeper, I started finding out, well, heck, like this isn't just me. Like, there have been studies done on this process, and science has proven that this actually works. So once I had all that momentum behind myself and I saw that, hey, this is actually working, it completely changed how I raise my son today. Now, what is the behavior bank? Here's what you've been waiting for, right? I talked to you about needing to have this parenting system, and now I'm going to tell you exactly what that system is. So the behavior bank is a tool that helps parents reward and discipline their children while consistently encouraging the positive behaviors and values that set kids up to be successful. It's really just a tool that helps very clearly explain what your expectations are of your child, then helps encourage the positive behaviors and extinguish the negative behaviors through the use of rewards. It's a discipline system that gives parents and children a crystal clear picture of what behaviors are positive, what behaviors are poor, and what the rewards are for positive behaviors, and then how poor behavior is disciplined. So there's very little gray area when you start to implement the behavior bank as a system and as a tool to discipline and reward your child. So here's a picture of the behavior bank. It's gone through many, many different iterations. I've used several different physical variations. This was actually the very first one. And I like to post this picture because it shows just how simple and easy it is to create something like this. So the behavior bank system has three main parts. There's the board, which is that big board you're looking at there. There's the behavior bucks, which is that fake money on the dresser there. And then there's the bank, which is that open box, and that's just where your kids store their fake money, their behavior bucks. So let me elaborate on each one of these sections. But before I jump into that, I just want to say how easy this little board was to create. I went to Michael's. I got like that foam board, a little bit of like decorative border, and then a permanent marker and some sticky notes. Literally took me 20 minutes to put this whole thing together, but it, again, drastically changed how I'm able to parent my son. So again, this is the behavior bank. This is the tool that I'm using. This is the system that I put in place in my house, and the rewards have been crazy good. So the behavior board has three different sections. The board itself, the actual board. It has an earn section, which you see on the left-hand side there. It has a lose section, which you see on the right-hand side. And then it has a reward section, which is what you see at the bottom. Okay. Now, again, remember, the purpose of the behavior bank is to make sure your child understands what the positive behaviors are, what the negative behaviors are, and what the rewards and consequences are for each of those. So the earn section shows all the different things your kids can do to earn money. And again, the money, this is fake money. These are the behavior bucks. I got mine from like the Dollar Tree. This is fake money. But again, the earn section shows all the different things your child can do to earn money, which goes into that little box on the table, which is the bank. And this is where you want to put all of your positive behaviors. All of the behaviors you want to encourage go there. Now, the lose section shows all the ways your child can lose money. You want negative behaviors here. So all of the behaviors that you don't want to see from your child, or things that you feel don't aid in their development or maybe take away from them being the kind of person you expect them to be, that's what you want to put in the lose section. Then last is the reward section. This is how your child will get to spend all of the behavior bucks that they've earned. So for me, I like to include things that I know my son really enjoys, like playing outside, watching TV, having certain junk food, using his electronics, sleeping over with friends and family members. So different things like that that I know my son enjoys doing, I put in the rewards section. All right, so this is what makes up the actual board. Again, you have the earn section for positive behaviors, the lose section for negative behaviors, and the reward section for all the different ways your child can be rewarded for their positive behavior. So what are the behavior bucks? Like I said, the behavior bucks are fake. This is fake money that's given to your child as a reward for positive behavior and taken away from your child as a way to discipline poor behavior. And I'll elaborate kind of on how the positive behavior, negative behavior, and rewards all tie in together as we move through the presentation. So the earn section. Again, this is fake money that's given to your child as a reward for positive behavior and then taken away from your child as a way to discipline poor behavior. It also shows how many behavior bucks each positive behavior is worth. So for example, say one of the behaviors you want to encourage in your child is quote unquote being responsible. That will be worth 2 behavior bucks. Or maybe another behavior you want to see in your child is showing initiative. So that'd be worth 5 behavior bucks. So anytime you see your child doing something responsible, maybe they bring their homework folder back, from school, because that's something that they were struggling with initially. You reward them for that. Or showing initiative. Maybe they get up and they make their bed without being asked. You give them $5 for showing initiative. So you can kind of pick and choose what that looks like for yourself. So the lose section functions just like the earn section, except it shows poor behaviors. This is where you list the behaviors you don't want to see from your child. And then with each poor behavior, you'll also include how many behavior bucks your child will lose for showing poor behavior. For example, being lazy loses 3 behavior bucks. Not being responsible loses 5 behavior bucks. So maybe your child forgets that homework folder at home. Now they're going to lose the $5 from their behavior bank. Or maybe they're being lazy. You ask them to, wash the dishes or load the dishwasher or take out the trash or something. Instead of doing that, they just lounged around the house. Then you would take away the $3 for being lazy. Now, the reward section is the super critical piece. They're all critical pieces, but especially the reward section. This is where you list all the different items and activities your child enjoys that can be redeemed as a reward. So each reward will have a listed price associated with it. And then in order for your child to enjoy one of those rewards, your child has to pay you however many behavior bucks each reward is worth. So for example, say that one of your rewards is to be able to watch TV for 20 minutes and that it costs $3. If your child wants to watch TV and redeem that reward, she'll have to pay you $3 from her behavior bank. Now, here's the caveat. Here's the piece that's super important. If your child doesn't have enough behavior bucks in her bank, then she can't watch TV. And that's true for any reward. If your reward is playing outside and that costs $5, if your child only has 4, then she can't go outside. If one of your rewards is going to your favorite ice cream place as a family, and that costs 10 behavior bucks, but your child only has 8, then that means that he can't go to the favorite ice cream shop. So whatever reward it is, you as the parent have to have the discipline to make sure you stick to it. And if your child hasn't earned enough money to enjoy that reward, then they can't enjoy that reward. And that's what I found has been the most difficult part, is when a lot of times we want to do things with our children, and the reward section should be things that they genuinely enjoy doing. So sometimes we have to tell them no, and that part can be difficult. But if you can stick to it, you'll see tremendous growth from your children. Now, again, the behavior bank is a system. It's a parenting system. And the goal is clarity for you and clarity for your child. The goal of using the behavior bank is to be able to show your child very clearly what kind of behavior you expect of her and what kind of behavior you won't accept from her. That's the goal. Now, I've shown you the process. I've talked to you about what exactly it is that we're doing here. Now I want to show you the science behind it, right? I'm not a scientist. I said that earlier. But after doing my research, I found that a lot of scientists actually agree with what I'm saying, and that there's actual studies that prove what we're doing here works. So the behavior bank is based on 2 kind of like psychology principles. One is called the token economy. The second is called a response cost. All right. A token economy and a response cost. I'm going to keep this slide short and sweet because I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to get too technical. You don't need to have technical knowledge to implement this system. I just want to show you that the science is there. That way you have more faith and confidence in the system and in the behavior bank. So again, the behavior bank uses a token economy and a response cost in conjunction. So a token economy is, think back to my 4th grade classroom, where positive behaviors are rewarded with some sort of token that can be then redeemed at a later point for some kind of positive outcome. So for us, our token, our currency, are the behavior bucks. That's the token in our economy. And then those behavior bucks can be turned in for the rewards that are on your behavior board. This whole token economy can take different shapes. It's been used in classrooms where children are given gold stars, right? We all know the whole gold star, right? And then if you get a gold star, or if you have a gold star at the end of the week, you get to do X, Y, and Z. So the token economy is using that currency and then exchanging it for some sort of reward. The second piece, kind of the kicker here, is the response cost. Now, not only are we rewarding our children for their positive behaviors, but the response cost, that quote unquote response cost, means that any undesirable behavior is also disciplined by taking away what's been earned. Now, there was a study done at LSU, Louisiana State University, and it said, they did this study, they ran it in a classroom just to see how the token economy would work. And what they discovered was that the token economy and response cost interventions were statistically similar, and both were rated significantly more acceptable and effective than the timeout intervention. So they were rated significantly more acceptable and effective, significantly more effective than the timeout intervention. Now, I read through this entire study, and it wasn't just timeouts that they talked about here, but it was a slew of different disciplinary methods. And what we're doing with the behavior bank outrated all of those other discipline processes. Another study from 2004 said that the results suggested that the amount of inappropriate behavior exhibited by children decreased when the level system was implemented. And in that study, what we're calling the behavior bank, or how we're utilizing the behavior bank, will be that level system. So what they're saying is that once they implemented this system, the inappropriate behaviors went away. Very, very powerful thing. So that's all the science mumbo jumbo I'm going to give you. I don't want to spend too much time there, but if you're curious and you want to know more, all you have to do is look up these phrases: token economy and response cost. Luckily, I've done all the hard work of packaging those two scientific ideas and putting it into a form that's easy for you to use. All right, so how do you get started? You know what the behavior bank is, you know that scientifically it's proven to work. But now it's like, okay, Tony, what do I do now to get started? So now that you have all of this knowledge, it's time to use it. So step 1, choose your positive behaviors. I want you to start with the values you want to instill in your child. Then identify which behaviors exemplify your values and which behaviors go against your values. So if something that you want your child to adopt and to internalize is the idea that is the value of taking initiative, what different ways can you see your child taking initiative? Maybe it's making their bed without being asked. Maybe it's taking out the trash can without being asked to. Maybe it's starting their homework as soon as they get home. Maybe it's, who knows what it is. Maybe one of your values is good manners. Maybe that means holding the door open for a stranger, saying please and thank you. All these different things that you can do to show positive behavior. So think about all the values that are important to you, everything that you'd like to give to your child, to your son, to your daughter, and then say, what specific behaviors can I identify that exemplify those values? Step 2 is to identify why each behavior is important. So each time you pay your child, praise his or her behavior and then explain why that behavior is important to you. And then on the flip side, each time you take behavior bucks away, explain why the behavior is one you don't approve of. It's important to start having those, not just what conversations, but also the why conversations. Step 3 is to choose how many behavior bucks are given for each positive behavior. So once you've identified, here's what I value, here's a behavior that exemplified those values, give each behavior a dollar amount that will be paid out in your fake behavior bucks. I like to keep my number typically somewhere between $2 and $10, right? Rapid fire, sometimes you'll have multiple exchanges a day. So it's good to keep that number somewhere between 2 and 10. Step 4 is to choose your negative behaviors. This step typically is just picking the opposite of your positive behaviors. Honesty earns money, lying loses money. But you'll also want to think about what areas your child is struggling in. So for me, my son has, we're working on trying to improve his independence. Sometimes he would rather be glued to my hip instead of kind of going out and venturing on his own. And he's starting to get older, and I feel that that independence is something that he needs to learn. So for us, when we feel that he's being too dependent on us to entertain him, for him to have a good time, that's one way that he'll lose money. So step 5 is to choose how many behavior bucks are taken away for each negative behavior. So again, you're just decide how much money your child will lose when they display inappropriate or undesirable behavior. And it's best, so if you have kind of those opposite positive and negative behaviors, like being honest and lying, or being, taking initiative, being lazy, it's best to make the negative behaviors cost more than the positive behaviors earn. So for example, if taking initiative earns your child $3, then I will make being lazy lose 5. So you want the sting of the undesirable behaviors to be a little bit more than the reward of the positive behaviors. And the reason why is that you should be paying out for the positive behaviors more than you're taking away from the negative. So step 6 is to decide what rewards your child can, quote unquote, buy, and then pick a price. So think of all the things your child likes to do. So riding the bike, playing on the Xbox or the PlayStation or Nintendo, whatever system it is, maybe using the iPad, or, family game night, going swimming, all these different things that your child likes to do, whatever is unique to your child that they enjoy doing, or they enjoy having, or they enjoy experiencing, going to the movies, maybe going to their favorite restaurant, or having their favorite piece of junk food, whatever it is, all the different things that your child would enjoy being rewarded with, put it on there. Now, obviously, smaller things cost a little bit less, and the more extravagant things cost a little bit more. So for us, playing outside for half an hour doesn't cost a whole lot. Taking a family trip to the movies and then following up with like ice cream or some kind of, snack treat costs a little bit more. So think about all those things, put them on the board. Step 7 is to build your board. Put it all together, just like that picture that I showed you. Have your 3 sections: your earn, your lose, your reward. And you can get creative with it. If you want to, if you're a handy person and you want to, manufacture yours or whatever it is, do it that way. When I first started, mine was literally just a foam board with some decorations and Post-it notes, and it worked phenomenally. I've gone through several iterations now, and I've got one that looks a little bit nicer, but that very first one, it got the job done. So don't feel that getting the actual board itself is a difficult piece. It's super simple. So I have a special invitation for you. You hung out with me all the way to the end of this presentation, and I'm super happy that you did. You've already got more than enough information to get started on your own. But if you want some personalized help in getting started and truly finding success, then I'm going to invite you to invest in a personalized coaching program to help you get rolling with the Behavior Bank. So there's 2 options. We have one-on-one private coaching. Oops, sorry, looks like I'm missing a slide there. So we have 2 options. Option 1 is a group coaching, and that will give you, sorry about that, guys. Well, option 1 is a group coaching. I'll go over here to this one here. Option 1 is a group coaching. And what you'll get from that is you'll get 2 group coaching calls a week. So we'll have 1 group coaching call that's kind of an educational base. So we'll dive a little bit deeper into different parts of the behavior bank. And then the second meeting as a group will be a Q&A session. So we'll have the first session of the week where we're diving deep into parts of the behavior bank. Then the second session that's focused strictly on Q&A. In addition to that, so that's 2 coaching sessions a week. In addition to that, you'll have a members only private Facebook group. So you'll be able to communicate with and get to know all the other parents who are also going through this process. And the power of that community is very, very valuable. The power of having a community of other people to get along with and communicate with and share stories with, super, super powerful. So again, for the group coaching, that's what you'll get. And that lasts for 3 months. So we'll get 3 months of being able to work together to go through step by step each and every one of your questions, getting everything answered, and making sure that you're getting the most out of the behavior bank. Option 2, you'll get everything that you got from option 1 from the group coaching. But in addition, you'll get 2 private sessions with me. So I'll be able to create a specific action plan just for you, specifically for you, if you go the one-on-one route. And each one of these, again, lasts 3 months. So it's a very small investment for the group coaching at $34.99 each month for 3 months. And then the option 2 for the private coaching, again, very small investment for all that you're getting at $99.99 per month for 3 months. Now, here's the kicker. I'm going to offer you 100% money back guarantee. So if for whatever reason you're unsatisfied or you feel that you didn't get the value for what you paid, you'll get 100% of every single penny you paid given back to you. It doesn't matter if that's day 1, month 1, month 2, or month 3. So if you go through this entire 3-month process and you feel, you know what, Tony, I didn't get the value that I thought I was going to get, no questions asked, you'll get back every single penny you paid. And you can cancel at any time. So if after the first month you don't feel that it's working out, you can cancel it. After the second, third, whatever point in the process you are, if you don't feel that you've gotten the value that you wanted, you can get your money back. No questions asked. So again, option 1, group coaching. You'll have 2 coaching sessions a week, access to the private Facebook group, and then just a strong community of people around you to make sure that you're getting the most value out of this entire system. $34.99 per month for 3 months. Option 2, one-on-one coaching, everything you get from the group coaching, plus private sessions with me twice a week and a personalized action plan. And that one's $99.99 per month for 3 months. Now, again, even if you don't choose to go this route, I honestly hope that what we've gone over today has been beneficial for you and helpful for you. So even if you don't go the coaching route, I hope that I've given you enough just to be able to get started and really see success with this. But like I said, if you want to take it to that next level and you really want to hit the ground running, this would be the best option for you. So if you're interested in the group coaching, go to thebehaviorbank.com/group coaching, group-coaching. And then if you're interested in the one-on-one, go to thebehaviorbank.com/1-on-1-coaching. Again, I'm going to be hanging out for a little while. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll be hanging out. Again, my name is Tony Robinson. You've been watching the presentation, How to Get Your 6 to 10-year-old to Listen Without Yelling, Stressing, or Losing Your Cool. I hope you've walked away with a lot of value from this. I put a lot of hard work into this. So again, any questions, I'm going to be hanging out for a little bit on the chat, and I will see you guys next time.